This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Announcer, and thank you for tuning into the Farm Monitor, your weekly source for everything and anything related to Georgia agriculture. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. As we've been doing for 51 years, we've really got a great show for you today. Coming up, it's off to Brunswick, Georgia for a hands-on shrimping experience that puts you, the average Joe, on the boat with real shrimpers, learning all about the industry and the different types of marine life the state has to offer. Also on the program, how this 13-year-old Newton County 4-H'er and future engineer is using 3D printing technology to benefit children in need of prosthetic hands. And then later, family-friendly options where people can handpick their foods. That's the motto of Evergreen Produce in Adel, Georgia. How this family business has become very profitable in just a short amount of time. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Let's go shrimping, shall we? Here in Georgia last year, 261 licensed shrimp trawlers hauled in an estimated $8.3 million worth of shrimp. Now, typically the season ends sometime between late December and mid-January. But did you know, you don't have to be a licensed shrimper to experience what these hardworking men and women go through daily. Recently, the Monitor traveled to Brunswick, Georgia for a trip on the Lady Jane shrimp excursion, where myself, along with some other visitors, were given a first-hand look at the incredible marine life the excursion has to offer.
What's the last name? Nunner. Hello.
Hi there.
Thank you. Watch your step over the gap.
I was mighty fortunate. I always wanted a shrimp, and I got the shrimp all my life, except the time Uncle Sam had me. And my grandmother said the first word she ever heard me say was sea boat, and that was a shrimp boat, and I'm 75 years old now, and I'm still seeing shrimp boats.
When our guests come out on the Lady Jane, they're coming out on a shrimp boat so they can see how a shrimp boat works, how the nets work. We teach them about the commercial shrimping industry so they know how it works here in the state. And then they get to see the nets come up, and everything that we pull up in the nets, we dump out onto a big table. And it's a hands-on experience where we talk about all the different animals that come up in the nets. We pass them around, let the guests hold on to them and get up close with them. And it's not just shrimp. We pull up a wide variety of animals in the nets, from shrimp and crabs to sharks and stingrays, lots of different kinds and different species of fish. So there's always new things, pretty much every time we pull the net up, of something to look at, something to hold on to, something to talk about.
I think this is a great experience. You often see the shrimp boats, along the coast driving by, and it's a great experience to be just a quote-unquote civilian, to be out with a captain and catching shrimp and doing all the activities that he does on a daily basis to earn a living. So it's a pretty cool experience.
It's a rarity for them. They see things that they'll probably never see again. And especially when we dump the bag and the naturalist explains what everything is and how to hold it, and lets them hold it and pass it around to other people, and they really enjoyed it. It's very educational.
This would be my dream job. I've been on the Lady Jane working as a naturalist for a little over 3 years now. Being able to come out and be hands-on with all this marine life every day and being able to interact with the people and teach them about it, that's the highlight of the job. Marine life is a passion of mine, and just being able to share my passion with all the people when they come out is the best part of the job. One of the really neat things that oftentimes happens in the summertime is our sharks and our rays are having babies, and occasionally, like we had today, we'll have a stingray, a mother stingray come up and have babies right there on the table. We have some big tubs of water that we let the animals swim around in while we are waiting to talk about them to keep them alive. And oftentimes those mama stingrays are swimming around in there, and we'll have their babies right there in the tub. So people get to see a brand new newborn baby stingray, or sometimes a newborn baby shark right there on their experience. It is a tough time right now in our shrimping industry. Our shrimp are suffering from a condition called black gill, and that is affecting negatively our shrimp populations. And so we were hoping for a really good shrimp season. Starting off with this season, all the indicators looked like it was going to be really good, but through some firsthand experience and talking with some of the other shrimpers, it hasn't turned out to be as good as a season as we had hoped.
And we certainly hope things get turned around quickly for Georgia shrimpers. Now, as for the Lady Jane, next time you're in Jekyll Island or maybe headed to St. Simons, check them out. The entire excursion, about 2 hours long, really worth the trip. And you can find all the information regarding times and prices by logging on to the address you see there. That is www.shrimpcruise.com.
Well, back on land now. For decades, the Georgia FFA-FCCLA Center in Covington has provided summer camps to develop leadership skills in FFA students around the state. And recently, the center got a new addition that not only will benefit future campers, but also recognizes one of their former students. David Jones has that story.
With agriculture being the #1 industry in the state, building future leaders is always a priority. And that's the goal of the Georgia FFA-FCCLA Center in Covington, which recently unveiled a new state-of-the-art building that honors one of their most respected former members.
The Terry England Leadership Center means a great deal to this FFA camp and what we can do here with students, the multi-use aspect of it. There's all kinds of potential. And it couldn't be named after a greater person. Terry England has done a lot for our program, for ag education, for the students.
A number of industry leaders, state dignitaries, and FFA students flooded into the new building to show their appreciation. It's the kind of recognition England was taken aback by.
Thought I was coming to a ribbon cutting this morning like we do a lot of times for facilities we build around the state. Had no idea until I drove up that it actually had my name on the front of it, and it just, the history that I've got of coming down here to the camp and what FFA means to me, it's an incredible honor.
England, along with thousands of other FFA students over the years, have visited this summer camp that has one clear goal.
The mission is to make a positive difference in the lives of students by developing their potential for premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. And so this facility helps reach the mission.
And England is undoubtedly one of the former students that this program has affected, as he continues to sing the praises of an organization that has meant so much to his life.
I don't know that I can quantify it in words. It's helping me as a young person break out of a shell of someone that was just incredibly intimidated to get up in front of people and speak. But not just that, but the leadership abilities that it helped nurture in me, and again, the friendships that we developed in high school that have carried through all the way through life.
While this new facility will enhance the center, it also represents just how important the FFA program is to the state, as the legislators are willing to throw their time and money behind it.
Well, ag education and FFA is very blessed to have supporters. The General Assembly supports us and helps us maintain our goals and our missions, and it means a lot to have that support. It kind of gives you confidence in what you're doing. It kind of gives you a nod of approval that what we're doing is important and it's making a difference in the lives of students.
I made a commitment to myself early on after I graduated from high school that I was going to try my best to give back to the organization that had given so much to me and the individuals that had given so much to me, and to make sure that for future generations that programs like FFA and 4-H and FCCLA and so many other youth organizations that are out there would have the opportunity to train future generations and decades of kids to come to have the abilities to lead our country, lead our state, lead our communities as we go back home.
Reporting from Covington, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, time for a quick break. When we come back, it all started out in the back of a pickup truck in Henry County. Now Georgia Peach World is a tourist hotspot for those traveling on I-95. A look inside this family-run business when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues.
My name's Aaron Riot, joined Georgia Peach World just a couple months ago as one of the co-owners now. It's a very exciting story. You know, we did start about 12 years ago. My cousin Jason started selling peaches out of the sort of the back of his car. Set up a fruit stand, and then that grew very quickly to 7 fruit stands. So he knew there was some serious potential there. Every step of the way involving, you know, friends and family. That's one of the neat things that really helped us sort of make this thing successful. Was I have cousins and aunts and uncles that were all involved at one part or another. And then just, you know, officially 4 years ago was when the Georgia Peach World name took place and the brand was established. And Jason picked this thing up and set it up into the 2 stores that we now have here at Townsend.
Who wanted to sample? I do. You do? Of the white?
You know, one of the things we tell people when we're looking to bring them onto the team is, you know, the #1 thing, you'll learn the products, you know, you'll learn the day-to-day repetitions, but it's that customer interaction. It's from the minute they walk into the door, you know, meet, greet, giving them that, like I said, that sort of dose of Georgia in a very short amount of time. And, you know, being willing to literally sample everything in the store is a big help. So, I mean, from our jams, jellies, and butters to our wine and shine, we tell people to come in, take their time, you know, and have a little fun with it. And what's neat is we actually see our employees do the same thing. Once they get comfortable, you know, they tell me that their day goes by real quick when they're able to kind of, you know, joke around with the customers, all at the same time, making sure that they get to try, you know, and take away maybe a little piece of Georgia with them when they go. The setup that we have is great. We have a lot of customers asking us, you know, are you two, you know, against each other? It's like, no, this is a brother-sister store, and you know, we're able to, with the proximity, of course, you know, help each other out, help our employees out if they need it at North or South. It really comes down to, like I said, giving the customers that experience from the very beginning, and trying to focus on giving them that little taste of Georgia before they leave. I mean, you can call it a general store, but general doesn't even capture it, I don't think. The produce, you know, spans everything from fruit to vegetables. Right now we actually have our white peaches in, which adds a little twist to, you know, our peach offerings. But if you step into the store, wine, shine, jams, butters, jelly, and then you go over to some of our more exciting novelty items, which of course the kids love, some of our slingshots and wrist rockets, things like that. There's about 1,000 things in the store that you could try individually and incorporate into your everyday diet, and you would love us for it, because there's a lot of flavors in there that are kind of kept secret right now.
At an age when most of his peers are wrapped up in Nintendo or glued to their phones, CJ Harris, an inspiring engineer, is creating prosthetics in hopes of helping those in need of upper limb assistance.
Georgia Tech is kind of like my dream college, so I used to, well, I still do a little bit, research a lot of like videos and stuff about it, and they had one video about their makerspace. So I was watching it, and they talked a lot about this technology called 3D printing 3 years back. And they didn't show the 3D printer, but they showed many models that it could make, and I was just like, wow, I really want this in my life. So I asked my parents, and they got one for me a few months later. I intended to make like a bunch of action figures and toys with it. I was not intending to make prosthetic hands at all, but I really wanted to help my community since I want to be a mechanical engineer.
When he was about 3, we noticed that he was very mechanically inclined, and he was always tinkering and taking things apart, wanted to see how it worked. And we looked at each other, we were like, yep, another one. However, we had no idea that this would evolve into what it is today. So as his homeschool mom, his home educator, I just try to keep up with him. I mean, really, I made it my mission to create an environment, educational environment, where he can be himself, as well as my daughter, and they can learn in a way that it's tailored to them.
My 4-H agents, they really gave me like a platform for me to expand on my project, and I just been able to like teach classes to my peers and stuff like that about the prosthetic hand, teach them like about designing so they can make attachments to make their hands work better and stuff like that. And then I've been doing speeches at 4-H competitions about my prosthetic hands, so like that's really what they do for me. And then they're always helping me, like they help me do my pancake breakfast that helped me raise funds to get like all the elastic string and screws and stuff. That was cool.
They have been amazing. They're like, whatever you need, you know, we'll back you. And a lot of these grants and things like that, like the one he got for Disney, you have to go through an organization. And 4-H has been that organization for us. So they've taught my kids how to hone in on their public speaking skills, how to be leaders in their community, and how to take their interest and turn it into something tangible and functional. So they've been like an extension of our homeschool.
The hand works through like these tension strings with the elastic string. So when you like pull the fingers down, they'll come back up. And once you have like a nub on your hand, it fits in here just like that. So when you move your wrist muscle, it will bend like that. A lot of people, including me, take like our hands and our body parts and things that we do every day for granted. And I know some kids in this world don't have the skills that I are not able to do things that I could do, and a way that I can make stuff for them so they can do those things, it just really, that's what drives me forward, knowing that I could give a child a hand and they could, you know, use it for physical things.
Incredible young man, isn't he? Now don't forget, if you missed any part of this story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, the Georgia Fire Monitor. Once there, browse the archive of stories dating as far back as 2009.
And once you're done watching all those informative stories, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address you see. That is news@farm-monitor.com. Up next on the Monitor, 40 employees and nearly $2 million in annual revenue. And they've only been in business for 7 years. When we come back, what the folks at Evergreen Produce in Adel, Georgia say has been the key to their incredible success. It's where gardening and art combine horticulture that brings about beauty and peacefulness. As Charles Denny reports, bonsai trees make a unique addition to anyone's home or garden, and they can be grown both places.
Tranquility that grows into miniature beauty. First thing about a bonsai, it's a tree, not a plant. Granted, it's a small tree, or more specifically, a tree that's kept small. Any species can take bonsai status as long as it's pruned and shaped properly. Beautiful and unique, the tiny trees are peaceful to care for and admire.
I really like that it just kind of brings me back in touch with nature every time you get to look at them. You don't have to go out to the woods all the time.
Jacob Yelton is a student at UT's Institute of Agriculture and one of the UT Garden's best experts on bonsai trees. He led this class called Bonsai for Beginners.
Right, and this is the basic wiring process?
Here he instructed gardening enthusiasts in potting, twisting, and wiring the miniature trees. You create a bonsai tree by controlling the size and pattern of its growth.
I just kind of want to take a little bit of the mystery away from it for people, kind of, you know, get them the basics, because it's really not that complicated once you get down to it. I think a lot of people are kind of afraid to get into it, but I'd like to kind of help clear some of that up for people.
Bonsai trees were first cultivated in China and Japan some 2,000 years ago. In Japanese, the word bonsai translates to planted in a container, but modern-day bonsai trees can be grown indoors or out.
What I'm trying to do now is decide which one I'm gonna keep as the crown.
Bonsai for Beginners is one of several classes offered by the UT Gardens. The educational outreach is year-round, even when it's too cold to dig. This class brought together people looking to find a little happiness by growing something beautiful.
This is always something that's interested me because of the uniqueness of the tree. And I like plants, but I seem to struggle with them. So what better way to learn about them than to come to UT?
Yeah, so we have a lot of, we call them make and take workshops, and so we usually have a lecture portion, and then we have the interactive portion where people can actually build these, like we do fairy gardens sometimes, we're doing this bonsai workshop.
So consider the bonsai to spruce up your home or garden. Trees make our world a prettier place, and the bonsai is proof that beauty comes in all sizes. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Finally today, if you joined us the past few weeks, then you know we have been taking you down Georgia Trail 37 and showing you some of the favorite agritourism stops the trail has to offer.
Today, our final stop takes us to Evergreen Produce and its Red Barn Market, a place that has only been open for a few years but is already generating a lot of business and slowly becoming a crowd favorite.
We have a you pick, we pick. We offer it to where if the public comes out, we have it available just like in the grocery stores. However, it's a lot fresher. Our eggplants are fabulous looking. You won't find eggplants that look like that in the grocery store. And also the rest of the week. We end up selling a lot of squash. We do a lot of squash. We do a lot of tomatoes. It's fresh. It's right straight out of the field. Everything that we have in our operation is what we've grown. We've been in the produce business for 23 years, so produce is nothing new to my husband and myself. We have 2 kids. Our son Austin is 23 and daughter Jade is 19. They help on the family farm also. We've enjoyed doing this. We've done it for as long as Brent and I have almost been married. We've done it this long, so it's all we know. There's a need for people to know where their food comes from. Lots of kids today in school, they don't understand unless they're taught. They think that it is at the grocery store. They think that chocolate milk comes from a brown cow. They don't know. So we had kids come out this year and we planted new potatoes. They dug them. They knew what it was like and they enjoyed it. And their families, their mamas come with them, mamas and daddies, and they got out there and did it together. It's a good family thing to do together. We're planning on having even more come the fall. We want to end up having a pumpkin patch. We want to have a corn maze, and actually my husband has talked about having the first ever tomato war. We all stick together. We've had an enormous turnout. I'm really thankful for the surrounding counties, not just Adel, but the surrounding counties. Everything that we use here, from our shirts to our ice cream cups, they're all right here in Adel. We try to use locally grown. You can plant in your backyard. I mean, there's things that you never know what tomorrow holds. We've always thanked God for everything that He's given us. We wouldn't be where we're at today without Him. But you can plant and do things in your own backyard. It doesn't have to be, you know, lots of people like tomatoes. Tomatoes is a great big thing, and you can grow that just right outside your back door. It really is fun to get to meet new people and see where they're from. We've had folks come off of, we're right here at Highway 37 with the Georgia Grown Trail. We have people that come off of 75. We've had some folks stop through from Atlanta, from Virginia.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
And a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure and check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and here on the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week, everybody.